are gonna get better now. But you're still a drunken slob.
Well, there's a good chance you probably will end up drunk tonight, because it's Friday. And there's nothing wrong with that, because you've earned the right for a couple tonight, after a long week. Time for your favorite show, Headbangers and Hooligans. And we are talking Cannibal Corpse. New album. Their 14th. 14 albums. Been around since 1988. Think about that. Almost 30 years they've been getting after it. The new album, Red Before Black. And just real quick here, everybody knows that I'm not a huge death metal fan. There's a few bands over the last few years since I started doing this podcast that I've grown to appreciate. I like Dying Fetus because I like the guitar riffs. John Gallagher, unbelievable. It's just hard for me to get past them vocals, you know. The drummer, Trey Williams, unbelievable. Like, that dude is inhuman. I like some Cattle Decapitation, although, wow. Just, those drums just, like, is that a guy really playing those? Because the kick drum never stops. And I get it. A lot of bands do that now. You're in the studio. The record label's paying for that studio for most of these bands, so hell yeah. Make the record sound like the way you want it to sound. I don't know what the hell that's got to do with Cannibal Corpse. It has nothing to do with it. Either way, some of these bands have grown on me because of the people in the band, and Cannibal Corpse is one of those bands. I watched a couple of their documentaries, and they are just such cool guys. And it's funny when you hear them talk, and then you think about the album covers and some of the titles of their songs. You know, I Come Blood and Hammer Smashed Face, and just the crazy gory album covers. But in their interviews, they're just normal everyday guys. And so probably this review, I'm going to come off as a fanboy. It's not going to be very objective because of me liking the guys. And maybe that's a bad thing, but I'm just being honest about it. I did see a review of this on Banger. Love that channel. I love their Lockhorns debates. They had one yesterday about Cannibal Corpse, and I like their album reviews. But the album reviews are starting to get very annoying. The one guy, he's pretty good. I can't remember his name. He's a comedian. But now, it feels like every review he does, he's trying to be funny. And it's like, you know what? I do that too. I try to infuse some humor when I talk about this stuff. But it just feels like lately, and I can't remember his name, I really can't. It just feels lately like it's forced. And there's a woman on there, and I believe her name is Sarah. And trust me, this is has nothing to do with her being a woman. I'm glad there's a woman on there. I wish there were more women that would review metal and punk albums. I think it's awesome. But I've noticed that these guys just kiss her ass on there because she's a woman. Oh, Sarah, I love that review. You are awesome. Really? Did you listen to the review? And the reason I'm explaining this story is because her review actually, it really didn't make any sense. She made fun of the guitar solos on it. She talked about how predictable and simple the band is, but then she gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars. And then she said, honestly, think about that. It's 7 out of 10 actually. What am I getting at? I don't know. It just seemed like a very weird review, and I just didn't like the way she disrespected a band that's been around for almost 30 years. That's what it felt like to me. So, point is, I'm probably going to really sound like a fanboy even more than before because of that. Is it right? Probably not, but I don't care. This band deserves respect for the time that they've lasted and all the bands that they've influenced. And I'm not going to laugh and make fun of their solos. That much I can tell you. Alright, so the album itself. Red Before Black, the lineup is, of course, George Corpse Grinder Fisher on vocals, Alex Webster on bass, Rob Barrett and Pat O'Brien on guitar, and Paul Mazurkiewicz on drums. I probably slaughtered that. I really like Paul, by the way. And he's another one. It was mentioned a couple of times. Paul really needs to give it up because he's just not good enough anymore. Did you listen to the fucking album? It's insane. Just because he's not, I don't know, because he's not a dying fetus and he's not considered this technical progressive drummer like a lot of these other guys, he's a piece of shit now. I totally disagree. Anyway, first song, Only One Will Die. The production, it's pretty good for the most part. Really explodes as far as the sound of the guitars, and Corpse Grinder's voice, it's right front and center. And you can make out some of the words more than you could than a lot of other death metal bands. I like the mix, but the bass, I feel like the bass is missing on the mix in a lot of these songs, and maybe that's the kind of sound they were shooting for. But the guitars, holy shit, the guitars sound nice to me. The second song, the title track, Red Before Black, and I like these lyrics here. He sings, "Knives brought the blood that's on the ground. Blood will paint the sky into darkness. Bleed before death, bleed during death, bleed after death." I know it's kind of simple, but I like it. And with the guitars, like I was talking about, the sound, it's kind of more of a groove-oriented sound. Like especially on some of their earlier albums, maybe going a little more towards the technical side. This one, it's just them heavy, thick, palmy riffs, and I love it. This is a perfect album to mosh to, and that's what you should do if you're listening to a death metal album, right? That's the idea. At least it should be. Third song, Code of the Slashers. They had a video for this one. I like this. "Jagged are the knives we wield. You know you're going to lose this fight. Your hand's a useless shield. Blood is going to spray tonight." Then towards the end, I really like this part. "You make a sound, we'll end your fucking life. We'll end your fucking life." And he repeats that. And it's just got, like the intro, like this nice crunchy power chord, dun dun, and he just kind of lets it ring out. Well, or maybe both guys do. Either way, gives it an effect. makes it more powerful. And I noticed too, and someone mentioned it in the comments on YouTube, like, not all the songs have it, but every once in a while you get a little bit of a melodic guitar riff here and there. Not, I don't remember hearing that in a lot of Cannibal Corpse stuff, and I know I'm a newbie, you know. I'm not a hardcore fan like some people, but I don't remember them infusing a lot of melody. And like I said, it's in little bits. It's not all over the album, but it's a nice surprise in some of these songs. Not used to hearing that. And then we get the fourth song, Shedding My Human Skin. And speaking of that melodic guitar, we get that in the opening riff of this song. And the main part of the song, he repeats it a lot, Corpse Grinder does, shedding my human skin, and it's like a combo of that heavy ass thick guitar riff with just that little melodic guitar. And I think it makes it interesting because it's something different. And it's not just simple. And back to the guitar solo thing, I think the guitar solos are amazing on here. I don't know why I let that bother me so much. It just did. Either way. Song 5, Remained. Not renamed. Remained. I kind of like that title. Anyway. It's got a cool intro. And once again, they kind of do that thing where they da-da, they hit the power chord and they just let it ring out. You know, kind of lets the song breathe a little bit. It's not just total kick it into gear right as the song begins. Okay, we're going 1,000 miles an hour. Change the pace up a little bit. Firestorm Vengeance. It's the 6th song. I love the riff in this. It's kind of a mid-tempo palm mute thing. Dun, 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 dun. And then he sings Firestorm Vengeance a lot. And once again, apologize. Was getting asked a question, had no idea that I was doing a show. It's okay. Anyway, Firestorm Vengeance, that guitar though, and I know I mentioned it, it's my favorite riff on the entire album. That main riff that they play on all the verses, really cool riff. Song 7, Heads Shoveled Off. Cut his head off, going insane. Now, she made a point of this, and I do kind of agree with her on this. Some of the lyrics on some of these songs kind of feel generic, and I'll get into that here in a little bit, but I just felt like it's just shit that we've heard 1,000 times before. But we are talking about a death metal band. And they're going to sing them, especially with Cannibal Corpse. You know, they stick to that same theme. So, you know, you're going to run into the same song topics a lot. So I don't know how you switch that up, but it just, I don't know, kind of generic. But that doesn't mean the album sucks because of that. There's some good lyrics on some of these songs as well. Then song 8, Corpse Delicti. Kind of a mid-tempo cruncher. That's what I'd call it. And then Scavenger Consuming Death. The one thing I like about this song, you get to hear the bass guitar. Kind of at the intro and in the middle. I wish we could hear a little more of the bass guitar. It really is drowned out in the mix of this album to me. You know, I like that thick, heavy, low end on all my music, but that's just me. Anyway, Hammer Swing, Cracking Their Skulls, Blade Slash, spraying their blood. He waits, watching them kill, scavenger consuming death. Now, this part right here. Body parts and severed heads. That's what I'm talking about. It's like, okay, we've heard that 1,000 times. And I know there's only so many different words you can use to describe a situation. But body parts and severed heads. Couldn't have thought of something different. We've definitely heard that before. But like I said, there's other songs where the lyrics are good. I mean, it's kind of nitpicking. And then there's In the Midst of Ruin, kind of another fast-paced song. But that one too, it's another one. I wish it had more low end to it. It made the song sound better to me. Destroyed Without a Trace, and it ends with the song Hideous Iker, or is it Iker? Sorry, Hideous Iker. Kind of another slow, well, not slow, more mid-tempo, heavy, chunky. You know I love heavy and chunky. The bottom line is, it's a good album. I don't think it's an amazing album. I think if you're a Cannibal Corpse fan, you're going to like it. I think the kind of death metal that they play, and she called it simple. I don't think it's simple. I don't know if she's ever looked at the tablature for their songs, but it's not easy music. Anyway, will they gain any fans from this album? Probably not. At this point, you're either a Cannibal Corpse fan or you're not. And this is coming from a guy who's not even a huge fan of death metal. They're a cool band. They deserve some respect. To be recording music like this and doing it as long as they have, they at least deserve credit for that. Unbelievable. And I don't care what anybody says, Paul is an amazing drummer. Even if a lot of people don't consider him one of the best drummers on the planet, oh, he's okay at best, whatever, then you go fucking play this shit. I want to see you play this shit on a drum kit if you think it's that easy. Anyway, there you go. Red Before Black. It's a good album. If you're a Cannibal Corpse fan, you'll like it. Doesn't get any better than that, does it? Alright. Nerf Herder coming up. Take it easy, and if it's easy, take it twice, I'm out.